Hey everybody, this is Mrs. Klosky once again, and hopefully this is the last video in our note-taking app series. And what I'd like to first of all point out is that since the last video, I closed this emulator, which is this screen that you see here, which allows me to display a fake device screen to you. I had closed it and reopened it and wanted to make sure that the emulator still had data stored in it from the previous run of the program. And what I found is that it did load some notes, but in the previous video I had deleted some of these notes before I had quit, and that data did not save when I had removed them. And if you look down here at my after picking, you'll notice that we removed it from the list, but we never stored the result in the database. So we need to make that change. The other thing I noticed here is I can no longer remove notes. So that's coming from up here in the initialize. It's automatically assuming that we need to set that false. So we need to correct those two errors first. So what I'm going to do is just pull my emulator off to the side, and we're going to correct those problems. The first problem I'm going to correct is I'm just going to duplicate this, and anytime I add notes to the list, I need to store the list persistently, and anytime I remove items from the list, I also need to store the resulting list persistently in the computer's memory, or the device's memory, I should say. All right, then for the second issue, we need to kind of move this command. We don't always want it to be false. We only want it to be false if once it loads the notes are empty. So I'm going to duplicate this line, okay, put it off to the side, and delete it from right here. All right, and now I'm going to say, okay, when I load this screen into memory, I want to go out and grab the notes. And if the list happens to be empty, I want to make the remove button false. So I already had that command right here. I just forgot to remove it from up here at the top. So this should now be functional. All right, now since I've made those changes here, I am going to have to add a note in order for this to become active because it's running the old one. So I'm going to do test the, boy I can't type, test the app. I'm going to add note. My remove note should now become active, and I can remove a note, and I am now going to pause my recording, come back to you, and hopefully test this and make sure that it's stored persistently to make sure there are no other errors before we continue. All right, I'm back. Yay! I killed my emulator, reopened it, and it had stored the changes that I had made. So my app is working well. The remove note button came active. So all of the errors from our previous version are corrected, and we're ready to move on.